Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you might be joining us from. I am HR Funk, and welcome to my special Veterans Day live stream. I've already seen that we've had people clicking in. Hopefully, we'll get some more to join us. It's been a busy week this week. We had a lot of things going on with the election, and yesterday, of course, was the Marine Corps birthday, and today is Veterans Day. So many things. We should have a lot of things to talk about. Of course, they're still counting votes in some states, and I was telling my wife this morning. I said, it seems like when I was a kid and elections would come around, by the next morning, all the votes were counted and everybody knew who won and who lost and everything else. Nowadays, it takes like weeks to get this all sorted out. And I'm not sure why that is. But I am taking guests again today on the live stream, and you can see the crawl going across here at the bottom. If you'd like to be a guest, shoot me an email at that email address, and I will send you a link to come on and join us. I always ask to remember this is a family show, so keep everything clean and friendly and courteous. I've never had to cancel anybody yet. And hopefully today won't be the first day. I do have my first guest already lined up here. In fact, he sent me an email before the show even started, and we were chatting back and forth a little bit before I started the broadcast. So I am going to bring him on. This is Reverend Skip Boyer. A lot of you know him already. And Reverend Skip, welcome to the show, and thanks for joining us today.
Good morning, Brother Howard. How are you?
Good.
Just wanted to come on and tell the veterans thank you, all my brothers and sisters that served honorably. We appreciate it. We live in the freedoms today. Even if you served in peacetime, you kept our country free, and I want you to know I appreciate that. I missed yesterday as far as telling Howard happy birthday.
Happy belated birthday.
Hoorah, right? Being a Marine. Here's some of the reason I have problems in life, and maybe you veterans will be able to get a little chuckle out of this. But right now I'm in Yuma, Arizona, and we're taking care of my mom's affairs. She passed away a couple weeks ago now. But I found this old picture, and I want you to see it on today, and hopefully I can get it where you can. This is my mom. She served in the waves, and as a matter of fact, we had a letter. You have been accepted into the waves. I thought that was kind of comical, that they would term themselves that. But this is my mom. She served from 51 to 52 or 50-51, I'm not sure. And then also I wanted to show a picture of my dad. Now, that's why I'm so confused at times, the Navy and the Marines. I did have a daughter that sent, I had a daughter that I sent that picture in a message, or those pictures in a message to the family this morning. They had never seen the one of my mom. And my daughter sent back, our oldest daughter sent back, and she says, aha, the women's department and the men's department. And I have often kind of told that, or given that rib to my Navy friends in great jest. I think it's kind of comical that it only took from September to November for the Navy to figure out they didn't have anybody that could fight, and they needed to start a new the men's department. Can you love me still? Can you love me still? Hello.
And you heard the story about the first two Marines that signed up, didn't you?
No, I didn't hear this one.
Didn't hear that? Well, they had the table at Ton Tavern, and the first Marine came up, and they had the sheet right there for him to sign up and join the Marine Corps, and he signed his name, and he stepped off to the side, and the second person came up to join the Marine Corps, and he didn't have a pen. So he turned to the person that had just signed up and said, could I borrow your pen? And that new Marine's response was, in the old Corps, we had to provide our own pen.
You'd have to be in the Corps ever. You wouldn't know how true that really is. As you're marching off the parade deck at Dago or Parris Island, the next crew to come off, they were the new Corps, and it was kind of comical. But in honor of today as well, Veterans Day, and all my veteran friends that have fought for us to have rights. I do have a non-firing replica, but kind of. You'll notice it's clear. This is let me see if I can get that better. This is a SIG. Right now it's set up in the carry conversion or version rather, and with the long magazine and the short. This is the 3.9 upper. I have a Swamp Fox Justice on it, and the neat thing about the Swamp Fox, that may be backwards on your screen, I can't tell, is that Swamp Fox gives veterans quite a discount. Now this is Shake Awake, and all of the neat amenities are there as far as that goes, and I really like it. It's a single 2-minute of angle dot, and it comes into focus pretty quickly. Now, on my other Glocks, I have a Holosun 507C, and Howard and I, we've talked about this before, both in jest and in serious discussion about how that reticle, the bigger reticle, I think it's 32 MOA circle, really helps present help you present to get the sights on target because of the grip angle being slightly different. It's a training issue, and you can train out of any of that stuff. But I just wanted to show you I'm going to be carrying this today, and because this does mimic what the Marine Corps is now carrying, right? Of course, they have the M18, but it's configured just like the M18. So I thought I'd carry that on Veterans Day.
Very cool, very appropriate. I got to show you before you leave the one that I'm carrying today. And you didn't see this before we started the show, but I've got the only handgun anybody should be carrying today, a 1911A1, and I have it in my Always Faithful holster,
Look at that.
USMC edition. And of course, that is a non-firing replica for all of the YouTube monitors that might be watching. It does not actually fire, but it looks good in the holster, and the holster makes it look even better.
That is a really nice holster. I like that.
Well, hey, you take care. Be careful out there in Arizona. Enjoy yourself next to the air station there. And I will catch up with you again sometime soon.
Very good. Thank you, sir. Have a great day. Happy
Veterans Day. And that's the way it works, everyone. If you'd like to be a guest, and I've got quite a few of you on here already, and I am not ignoring you. I've been seeing the Happy Veterans Day requests as they've been coming on. I am going to jump in here, though, kind of in the middle of the comments. We got Joe Morgan here, KD Cowboy, Simon Aguilar, Sean Keel, Vic from Fallout is here, all the way from the Czech Republic. Thanks for joining, Vic. Jeff Tim is here from St. Augustine, Florida. Hopefully you made it through the storm yesterday. We're getting some of the leftover storm right now. It's raining outside as we get the outer ring or rings, whatever it is, of the tropical storm making its way this direction. But it's going to be a rainy day here in Ohio as a result of all that. Art Grote is here. Joe Morgan, if I didn't already say. Camp David is here. Greetings from New Washington. Greetings. Thanks for joining. Rookie Spartan is here. And I think that's everybody. And again, if you've got questions, comments, things to discuss from this past week, veteran stories is something I was talking about today, and Skip helped us out with the first couple there with his parents. If you are a veteran and you've got stories about your time when you were in the military that are fit for retelling, and you'd like to share those with us, be sure to throw those out. I think that would be a lot of fun. There were so many things. Those of you who have been in the military know this. If you've not been in the military, it might not seem like it, but you get to see and do just extraordinary things when you are a member of the U.S. military and probably other military organizations around the world. As far as traveling to places, meeting new people, just seeing a lot, doing things that most people would never imagine doing. I think I told a story about jumping a Jeep one time, which I probably shouldn't retell because I might still be trying to figure out what happened to that Jeep at the air station up in Wisconsin. But If you have stories like that, anything you would like to share with the order, please let me know, because I would like to get those out to everyone. And I saw some more comments over here. And YouTube's letting me know that the show is live, so that's awfully nice of them. I appreciate that. Joe Morgan's got his non-firing. I hope everyone's got their non-firing replica today. I think that would be great. Somebody is saying, now I lost it. Rookie Spartan, to guest or not to guest? That is the if you want to, please feel free. Shoot me the email. Now, one thing you can do, as you saw when Skip appeared, we did the split screen and you were able to see him and hear him. You can choose not to activate your camera, and then nobody can see you, but they could hear the dialogue back and forth. So if you're worried about appearing on camera, you don't have to worry about that, because you can participate with just the audio. You don't have to actually be seen. Josh Twyman says, how's it going? Thank you for your service. Thank you. Josh is a recent enlistee in the National Guard. So thanks to you, Josh. Not quite a veteran yet, but an active member of our military. Jeff Tim says, not much there in St. Augustine, but next door neighbor's fence is now bent in. But oh, okay. So you got a little bit of wind, it sounds like. ALU Ministries, remembering my father in World War II, D-Days in North Africa, Sicily, the Boot, Anzio, and South France. So a lot of action. Father was in a lot of the European campaign and a lot of the European theater. 6 bronze stars, a silver star. So, all right. And your father was absolutely an American hero. Thank you for telling us a little bit about him. Jeff Tim saw the USMC birthday video yesterday. Yeah, I had a good time with that. I always enjoy that every year, doing the happy birthday video for the Marine Corps. My history was as an Aberdeen Marine. You might have to give me a definition of that, Jeff. I'm not familiar with that term. I know where Aberdeen is, but the Aberdeen Marine, I don't understand. Wax Factory, you're going to get on Rumble. I'm actually on Rumble. I have about 20 videos there, and I started posting the beginning of this year. And I think all 20 videos combined, the last time I looked, had about 100 views. So I'm getting so few views over there that it just, I guess I've lost some of the enthusiasm to continue posting there, because there's just nobody watching. You know, I go through the motions to post the videos and nothing happens with them, which is not to discount anyone who's watched the videos there. I appreciate people watching wherever you see my videos, but I'm just not getting that much in the way of views with the videos that I post on Rumble. Rookie Spartan, the moment you mentioned jumping a Jeep, I couldn't help but imagine Sheriff Roscoe Coles. It was something like that. It was, well, I'll tell the story. I think I told it in a live stream before, but some of you might not have heard it. We're up in Wisconsin for cold weather training, and there is a small Air National Guard up there, Air National Guard base up there called Volk Field. So a lot of the squadrons from Cherry Point were going to Wisconsin for cold weather training, and then they were going to Norway, I believe, on a deployment. So along with all kinds of other Marines, the MPs got sent up there to do our thing. And we're on this Air National Guard base. And of course, we got all kinds of aircraft out there that we're doing security for and everything else. And me and a friend of mine are out one night, and the vehicles they had for us to drive up there were Jeeps. They were Vietnam era M151A1s, if you remember those, anybody that is familiar with Jeeps. And I think it was one of the few times during my time in the Marine Corps that I actually drove a Jeep. When I first got to Cherry Point, there were 1 or 2 units there. 3rd Lamb still had Jeeps, and it seems like somebody else did. But the old tried and true military Jeep was being phased out in favor of the Hummer. The Hummers were the brand new vehicles at that time, and there were also the CUCVs, and I can't remember what that stood for, but they were like the Chevy pickups and the not Broncos, the Blazers and things like that, the camouflage versions. If some of you remember those. But anyway, Jeeps were really not around too much that time in the U.S. military, but they had them on this Air National Guard base. So a friend and I are out, and we're doing a perimeter check around the air station. And the perimeter road went basically way out and back through the woods. And there was a place back there that I don't even know why it was there. It looked like there was some sort of excavating going on or something else, probably better off that I don't know what it was, on the backside of an air base somewhere. But anyway, there was a pile of dirt, a mound of dirt shaped kind of like a ramp. And it was probably at its highest point, I don't know, 5 or so feet off the ground. So I said to my buddy, hey, let's jump this Jeep. And of course, oh, you ain't got the guts, or whatever exact expression he used. But my plan was the mound was shaped more or less like a triangle. So I was going to give it just enough gas going up this side that we kind of raise up a little bit and then come down the other side. But I gave it too much gas. So we launched off of the front of that pile of dirt. And I'll never forget this, because I always imagined this to be like the Dukes of Hazzard, where the front end of the vehicle stays up in the air and comes down with the back wheels first. That's not what happened, because of course the engine is in the front of the Jeep. So we launched out into the air, and all of a sudden the front starts going like this, and I'm looking at the ground and I'm thinking we're going to go like this when we hit the ground, and I'm thinking uh-oh. And my buddy is yelling, and we hit the ground, and I can almost feel the springs on the front wheel compress, because we didn't hit on the bumper. We actually hit on the front wheels. And when they released, it threw the front of the vehicle up. And so now the back's down. So we're going boom, 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 boom. And we've got rifles and equipment and everything flying around all inside of this Jeep. And I finally got it to a stop, and I'm sitting like, and my buddy is doing the same thing. And I'm looking at him, and he's looking at me. I said, are you okay? He goes, yeah. Are you okay? Yeah. And I said, this vehicle's got to be destroyed. And I got out of that thing and looked around. There was not a mark on it. There was not a sign of damage. There was not. From that day on, I knew I wanted to drive Jeeps. I've been driving Jeeps now for 20 something years, all because of that one experience. I thought, if they are that indestructible, that's what I want to drive. But that's my jumping the Jeep story for anybody that didn't hear it before. And now I'm going to jump over here, because I've been going through a bunch of comments. And I think, Jeff Tim, did you send me something saying you wanted to join the live stream? Let me look here. I know I saw a message come across, but I do not have. Oh, there it is. All right. Jeff Tim wants to join us, so let me send him a message quick to be able to do so. Oh, we've got somebody else also that's interested. So give me a second here. We'll bring Jeff on first, and then we've got Nick that also wants to join us. All right. And I have got emails back to both of them. When you get those links, just click on them, and they'll bring you into the room here, and then I'll actually bring you on so you're on the screen. But back over here. And let me catch up with the comments here. Jeff Tim, ordnance school. Oh, okay. So in ordnance school, you were with some Marines, it looks like. All right. Wax Factory, thanks for all your service. It really, when I look back at it, it was an honor. It was an honor to serve in the Marine Corps. So I appreciate the thanks, but I'm glad I had the opportunity to do that. Actually, grateful that I did. Skip Boyer, and now we know why the Marines have to carry their 1911 in condition. Yeah. I was a Lance Cooley in those days, and I thought that seemed like a good idea. Josh Twyman, does Rumble have a green play button looking thing as their logos? I think so. I believe, I haven't looked at it for a while, but I think so. Vic from Fallout, my great grandfather served in World War One in Russia, and then in the Russian Civil War in the Czechoslovakian leagues. Wow. So there is some history there. It'd be great to hear some of the stories he could tell. And it's funny you mentioned Russia. I was watching this TV show last night. It's called Mysteries of the Abandoned. And they were talking about these different abandoned structures and facilities all around the world. And they mentioned a couple of them that had belonged to the former Soviet Union. And I started thinking about something, because one place they showed was a former submarine base. And I thought, I wonder what happened mechanically when the Soviet Union, the government collapsed, because there would have been people at military installations, there would have been submarines out at sea, everything else. I mean, did a submarine just stop getting messages and come back into the base and there was nobody there? Was there some official message that was sent out to let everybody know? Did people come back in off of guard posts and the base was deserted? I'm just curious mechanically how that all went. It must have seemed extremely strange for the government that had embodied the officers and NCOs with all of their authority, and that the soldiers and sailors were loyal to, was just gone. I mean, all politics aside, that must have been extremely, extremely weird for those troops to just, everything that had been was just not there anymore. Anyway, that's what I was thinking about when I was watching that show last night. Jeff Tim, the link doesn't work. Sorry about that, Jeff. Yeah, it must be something on your end, I would guess. Because that's what I've done. Everybody that's come on, I've just sent them that link and they were able to click on it and join, like Skip did a while ago. So I apologize for that. I was hoping to have you on. Josh Twyman, has anyone here ever owned a Springfield XD? Shot a 45 XD before and liked it, but never owned one. I've never owned one. I'm trying to remember if I've shot one. I know I've handled them. I don't remember shooting one. So if I did, it didn't leave a lasting impression on me, I guess. Rookie Spartan, just in case, ran up and got my non-firing replicas. Somebody's okay. There you are, Jeff. Looks like you did make it. All right. So I'm going to bring Jeff Tim in. Jeff is a longtime friend of the channel here. Good morning, Jeff. How are you doing today? We don't have your audio for some reason. Is your microphone turned on? Still no audio. Not sure what's going on there. Looking for anything to come up on the comments here, but we've got your video, but we don't have your audio, Jeff. While we're waiting on Jeff, Vic G says, my dad served in World War II in the Army and Air Force. He hated the 45 auto. Really? Don't know why. I just remember him saying that as a kid. Today it's one of my favorite handguns. Yeah. And there were people like that. There were some. Yeah, sorry, Jeff. I don't know what's going on there. I'll tell you what, I'm going to click you out. Just see if you might be able to get it straightened up there. And if so, I can still see you on my screen. So wave at me or something, get my attention if you get that sorted out. But brought you back in, Jeff. Any luck? Not looking like it now. Katie Cowboy, do the Russians have to blow up their own pipeline, Nord Stream? Good question. Boy, did that story ever just fall off of the planet? You haven't heard anything about that for weeks. It was a big story for like one day and then nothing, which kind of makes you curious in and of itself. Jeff spelled the words on a chalkboard. ALU Ministries, the 1911 is a good gun, but not the only gun. I'm carrying a Smith & Wesson Model 10. Extremely good revolver. Great wheel gun. Used extensively in the armed forces for 100 years. The gun Goering carried when the Texas boys took him. I did not know that. I didn't know he had a Model 10. But the 1911, there were troops that definitely did not like the 1911. I loved it. When I was in the Marine Corps, I loved the 1911. I still love the 1911. But I know a lot of people didn't. And I wonder, too, how much training they did or didn't have with the things. You know, as an MP, we shot with them a lot. We did a lot of training with them. So I was pretty well acquainted with the 1911. And I don't know if everybody always got that degree of training back in those days. Josh Ryan, my grandfather was a combat engineer in the 37th Infantry Division, which was an Ohio National Guard division. He got a Silver Star for driving a bulldozer. This keeps jumping as I'm trying to read it. Driving a bulldozer out of an ammo dump that was getting ready to blow up. Wow. All right. Well, again, great story. And keep those coming. Anybody that's got stories about your service or service of your family, by all means, type that up on here, and I'll try to get that out to everybody. Josh Twyman, he was a draftee from Western Oklahoma, but was an add-on to that unit as they left for the Pacific. All right. Vic from Fallout says, in Europe, we think the Nord Stream was blown up by the CIA. Well, like I said, the story just fell out of the news, so it seems like we're never going to know. Rookie Spartan, am I good to give a link? Go ahead, send me an email, and I'll shoot you a link. Let's try Jeff one more time. We'll see if he's having any better luck here. Any luck, Jeff?
Hello, dear. Anybody read me?
Yep, you are on now. Whatever you did solved the problem. Good morning.
Very good.
What do you got for us
I'm
today,
still
Jeff?
getting a slow echo, even though I turned it off.
Okay. We can hear you now.
Okay.
What you got for us this morning on Veterans Day?
Oh, old Army story. I was in so long ago, the M1 tank was new.
I thought you were going to say the M1 rifle was new.
No, but we had M1 tanks without a governor on them, the pre-production models. And the guys in my unit who were driving them wanted to get a speeding ticket on Eisenhower Boulevard, where the speed limit was 50 miles an hour.
Did they succeed?
Oh, they succeeded, but the poor guy in the escort vehicle in front was driving a clapped out 151 that would just barely make 45.
The things people come up with. We never had any tanks that we had to worry about speeding, but I can remember a lot of other. I can remember somebody one time. This was not an MP, believe it or not. This was somebody who's probably a former Marine that was working for the local police department, and he set up at the end of one of our runways, and he used his radar to clock a I'm not sure what the plane was that was taken off. Probably an A6 or something like that. And of course, he clocked it as it was taken off at 110 miles an hour or something like that. So he locked it in. And then he went back and he told this story at the police department about how he'd clocked a motorcycle and decided not to chase it because it was going to be too dangerous or whatever. He got an attaboy from his watch commander for making a great decision, but it was all BS because he was using the radar to clock an airplane. Jeff, I got somebody else waiting here. I'm going to bring him in quick because he's been waiting for a little bit, and I can bring you back then. So if you give me a minute here. Rookie Spartan, thanks for joining.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to talk to you. I know I've emailed you back and forth about a few questions I had, and I appreciate you allowing me to come on today.
No problem. I appreciate you being here. You look like one of the younger members of our audience. Can I ask you how old you are?
I am 23 right now,
23?
so probably
Right.
on the younger end.
Yeah, well, I vaguely remember being 23.
Vaguely. Oh boy.
Vaguely, yes. That was a long time ago for me. Do you have something for us this morning on Veterans Day?
So I'm not a veteran, nor do I play one on TV. But my one grandfather, my great grandfather, I should say now. It's if you ever look up Christopher Lee, it's kind of his World War II service is very much so hinted upon. You know, he did some stuff, but exactly
So you're
what
talking
he
about
did.
Christopher Lee, the actor?
Yes, correct. I'm sorry,
Okay.
but I'm not saying my grandfather was Christopher Lee, but he went into World War II, and we found a bunch of random stuff around his house, and he retired very handsomely after the war. So there's some very much foreshadowing that he had some involvement with OSS or something like that, which is kind of interesting. But once again, there's no way that I, Mr. John Doe citizen, can get access to anything probably. But I had another grandfather that was in the military during the Newark riots. So New Jersey National Guard during the Newark riots. So not really combat, but at the same time, at that time, it very much so felt like it, especially since the National Guardsmen had empty M1 rifles with bayonets on them. And good luck. So that's really it. It's not really American related, but I had another grandfather who, my family, at least that side of the family, they came to the United States just before World War II. So they're Italian, and my great-great-grandfather saw Mussolini rising to power and was like, this guy is not good. I got to get the heck out of here with my family. So the United States said, no, thank you. We don't want you. And the Argentinian people said, you know what? Sure, come here. So he had a 1 year mandatory military service. And I think until maybe recently, Argentina, still had that. And during his 1 day in service, they actually had a military coup. And he found out about that in a very unlikely way. He was out partying. It's the 1950s, so no cell phones, no anything. So he's partying, and he's going to work at what their equivalent of the CIA building is, and there's no one around. Like, no one's on the street. It's like a busy city. It's Buenos Aires. So you have to imagine if everyone in the middle of New York City is just home. And he's like, that's so weird. What's going on? And then he gets a bus, and there's no one on the bus. The bus is like the only one going around. And he's in his military uniform. And the bus driver's like, well, what are you doing? He's like, well, I'm going to work. I got to go to the Capitol. And he's like, I don't think I can take you there. And he's like, why can't you take me to the Capitol building? It's like, you're in the military and you don't know what's going on. He's like, no, I was partying the night before. What's going on? And then he showed him a newspaper that's like martial law declared in the country, like military coup in progress. And he's like, oh, that's a problem. So he goes to the building, and I'm trying to make this story a little short because I apologize. I don't see if there's people in the comments saying like shut him up or whatever. But
nope. Everybody's listening.
Okay, so he gets to the Capitol building. There's tanks going into the countryside to where the pro-Peronist military, I guess I'll say rebels, were located. And you have to imagine, I don't know if you've ever seen a missile silo out west. Those thick, literally a foot of steel and everything doors that they kind of had the missileers inside of. So from my understanding of the story, in order to get into where all the people in this section of the equivalent of the Argentinian CIA were, you had to get through that thick door. So he arrives to work. They're yelling at him like, where the heck were you? We've been calling you all night. He's like, sorry, I'm here now. Like, just what do I have to do? And they're like, okay, well, here's a Thompson submachine gun. We're going to be in this bunker. You're going to be on the street. And if there's anything that goes on, good luck, because we're going to be staying in here and you're going to be out there. So the street has no cover. It's just the building, roads, and it's just him out there. And he's thinking to himself, oh man, like this is not good. This is like a bad tactical situation to be in. If people, all it takes is just a car zooming by and it's all over for me. and he's sitting there and he's doing his guard duty. And then as he's doing that, and Navy petty officer, he remembers the rank vividly, even though he's kind of losing it a little now, came up to him and is like, "Airman," because he was Air Force was responsible for all the intelligence stuff then at that time. "What are you doing out here?" And he's like, "Well, I was told to be guarding out here." And he's like, "You realize what position you're in right now?" He's like, "Yes, sir." So the officer goes up, bangs on the door. They open it, and they're like, "Get that man inside! Like, what are you? Get him out of the street! Like, he's just gonna die." And luckily, nothing happened to him. He didn't have to shoot anybody. The rebels lasted a day. They were driving a convoy. Air Force said, "Stop, go away, like surrender." They said no, and then that was it. So his 1-day martial law experience, and that's the most exciting story he had in his 1 year of mandatory service. But not American, but still gives me a little chuckle just imagining him out there like, "Oh, this is a problem."
I think any young person who's ever been in a situation where they are now in the military service, really almost regardless of where it is, can empathize with that story, because you can just imagine yourself, as a brand new, whatever. In my case, brand new private, stuck out someplace. Somebody gives you a weapon and says, "Do this or do that," and you're standing there going, "Okay."
Good luck.
Yeah, hoping for the best.
We'll be right behind you in this nice thick bunker while you're out there braving everything. Good luck out there.
Well, hey, thanks for joining us, Rookie Spartan. Those are some great stories. I appreciate you supporting the channel. Appreciate you watching, and feel free to come back again sometime on a future live stream.
Thank you very much for having me. Happy Veterans Day.
Thank you. Again, folks, that's the way it works. So if any of you want to join, and Jeff, I'm going to come back to you in a second, but let me just see if we have any comments over here I need to respond to. Tom Crawford is here. Thanks for joining, Brother Tom. Appreciate seeing you on the list. Elaine's Domain is here, giving a cheer to Rookie Spartan. ERJG 1954 is here. He wants Rookie Spartan to host the next live stream. Everybody wants somebody to host except for me. Usually it's Mimi. People go, "We want Mimi," and I'm like, "I'm here." Just Joe Morgan says my uncle served in Korea in the Marines. That's cool. I wonder where he was in Korea. I wonder if he might have been in any of the places where I was. And oops, this just took a jump. Mark Nagel says, "Hi, Howard. Happy Veterans Day. USAF 77 to 81. Thank you, Mark. Happy Veterans Day to you." And Dewan is here. Glad you joined. I'm going to bring Jeff back. We'll see if he's got anything else for us. Jeff, you got anything else for us this morning?
Let me take a look here. Still experimenting with the sound. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you sound great.
Okay, what happened was I had the window open on the regular channel and I had the window open on StreamYard. Therefore, I was getting both sounds with a delay.
Okay.
So anybody else needs to do that. Just make sure you got all the settings properly checked down in settings on StreamYard. Also on the StreamYard message, you need to click not on the buttons and things, but on the link down below in the message. Then the whole thing works very well.
Yeah, you look great. You sound great now. So I'm glad that's all straightened out.
I managed to shave this morning.
Good. I did too. In fact, I got a haircut this morning. When I woke up this morning, I looked at myself in the mirror. I kind of had that woolly hippie look, and I asked my lovely wife if she'd give me a haircut, and she was kind enough to do that. So I feel much better now that I look presentable.
Yeah, I need to get a haircut. I'm about a month late. I've been having some medical problems, and so is the wife. But I have to go 20 miles up to Jacksonville and then back because to get a real barber shop and not a hairstylist, that's about as close as I can get.
I know what you mean. I wish that there was a military installation around here someplace, because I told my wife this morning I could go into a barber shop, and if I said I wanted a high and tight or a flat top or whatever, they'd know what I was talking about. I'd get a haircut and off I'd go. I told the story, I think, in the last live stream. The person that's been my barber for a long time moved away. So I went to a new barber, and I hate breaking in a new barber. I hate that because they never know just exactly how you want your hair, and you got to get a little bit more off there, not quite so much. And it takes several times to go back until you finally get them to where they're giving you the haircut you want. So I just said to heck with it and asked my wife if she would do it, and she was, like I said, kind enough to do that. And now I'm happy.
I have a lovely young lady who gives me 1/4 of an inch on the top and white walls on the side. And I see her once a month.
That's
They
good.
call it a buzz cut, and I give her 100% tip.
Cool. She probably likes that. All right. And let me look over here quick, see if we got any other comments, anything directed at you, because I've noticed some of the comments are coming in for the people that I've got as guests, and I'm remiss for not letting you know what some of these might be. I've got one from Jean-Michel, probably I got to pronounce this right, Conge, that I can't read, and it appears to be in French. So if anybody can translate that for me quick, I would be happy to reply to Jean-Michel. Rookie Spartan's overdue for a haircut. No, you look great. Don't worry about it. All right, Jeff. Well, from the sounds of things, the tropical storm that you sent us must be backing off outside. I don't hear it raining anymore. So hopefully that's passing by, and I might be able to get out this afternoon and be able to enjoy some Veterans Day time without taking a boat, without feeling like I'm in the Navy.
We canceled Veterans Day here in Jacksonville and rolled it over to Saturday, the parade and all, because of the weather. We only got 2 inches here in St. Augustine, though. Mostly it was wind. We got
Really?
59-mile-an-hour sustained winds gusts to 60 to 59 miles an hour, and sustained winds of 30.
All right. So not too bad as weather goes down there, at least as I understand it.
Yeah, but the flooding and the storm surge was what got the guys down near the ocean.
Oh,
They lost a big chunk of land out there. I still say that you can't build $1 million house on loose and shifting sands, but some people do it anyway.
that's one thing I've not been through as a hurricane. When I was in North Carolina in the Marine Corps, for the 2.5 years or so that I lived there, we didn't have a hurricane come that way. So I know when I first got to Cherry Point was right after the big hurricane in South Carolina. That would have been in 1985-ish. Was that Hugo? But we had sent Marines down there to help with the cleanup and the repairs and everything from that, but I was not one of them. But never made it to a hurricane.
Mm-hmm.
Or
Well,
never.
hurricanes are weird. I was impressed by the Coast Guard. Back in the 1950s, there was one heck of a hurricane that hit Galveston. And we had a guy in the neighborhood who was assigned to the Coast Guard base in Cleveland at the time. This was the 60s. And all the Coast Guardsmen had families. They lived up on the top of the highest hill in the area in brick houses with glass block. So they were relatively storm resistant, being on high ground and all. But according to Commander Otto, OTTO, the city was so heavily flooded that if he wasn't afraid of fouling his props, he could have taken his ship up Main Street.
Really?
That's a storm surge.
Yep, that sounds like it to me.
When I was in working for the Department of Defense before I retired, people ask why I always insisted on the computers being put up on top of the desks. And I explained it to them. The record storm surge in St. Augustine is 22 feet. The end of the runway is 10 feet above sea level. About the only guys I didn't have to worry about were the guys on the second floor.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us this morning, Jeff, and ironing out those technical difficulties. I appreciate that.
Hey, it's a learning process. Hopefully everybody will write down my notes and they'll be able to do it right the first time.
All right. Well, thanks again. You take care and happy Veterans Day.
Avita, bye-bye.
And turning my attention back over to the comments here. Elaine's Domain. Oh, I thought Elaine's Domain was telling me I looked like an old hippie. So as of this morning, when I first woke up, I would have agreed with that. I think I'm a little bit better now than I was then. Josh Twyman, gonna get off and head to Votech. All right. You have a great day, Josh. Rookie Spartan says, I need subtitles to understand everything. Oh, okay. That's what John Michael was saying. And I don't even think I can do that. I think that would probably be something on the other end that somebody would have to do to get subtitles in a different language. I have no idea how I would initiate that on this end. Tom Crawford, Homestead here, went through Hurricane Irma, 11 days without power or water. Wow. I hope you made it through okay, Tom. That would suck. Lane's Domains has problems with the dog drooling on the keyboard. So I don't know what I can do to help you out with that, ED. And Rookie Spartan, Hurricane Sandy in New Jersey was the closest we had to a total breakdown. Wow. Yeah, I know that I remember when that happened, and there was a lot of coverage of that at the time and a lot of devastation. So I can see how that breakdown would occur. Hod 8 never got notice of this one. Sorry, Hod. I put up a a quick notice, a real quick video about 45 minutes or so before I started the stream. Just try to let everybody know. I'm always at YouTube's mercy, so I never know who's going to see what or when they're going to send things out or anything else. Frank Budda says, I need someone to dub in different languages. Some people probably think I need people to dub in English. My old high school English teacher would be one. Frank Budda, what do you think of today's reported woke military? You know, I'm trying to keep the live stream positive today and recognize our veterans and the service and the sacrifice that they've made. So I think what I'll do is reserve comment on the modern woke military and simply say that still anybody that enlists in our military is embarking on an honorable endeavor, and that willingness to serve and in our all volunteer military force, I think is a tremendous gesture, regardless of any of the other dynamics that might be in play. So I think that's kind of where I'll leave that one. I really don't want to start taking the stream into a negative direction and talking about some of the decisions that are being made regarding our military these days. Jeff Tim is helping out Frank Budda with some suggestions there for what might help the military. Rookie Spartan, one of the only officer-involved shootings in my area happened then. Okay, during the hurricane. Guy attacked another at a gas station, grabbed a chainsaw to finish. Jeez. Sounds like something from a horror movie. Tom Crawford, we got an excellent warning on Irma. Yeah, they were talking about that for days leading up to it. So had hot coffee, hot food every day. Good. We'll say my rifle came in real handy at night. I'll bet it did. And those are the times, that where there is that breakdown or law enforcement can't necessarily answer every call as quickly as they'd like to, that our ability to defend ourselves because of our Second Amendment is just so critically important. Now, I realize that's not the actual reason behind the Second Amendment. That's kind of a fringe benefit, if you will. But when we have those times that we are going to have to depend on ourselves to keep us and our families safe, to have the ability to do so is just outstanding. Katie Cowboy, saw a Henry X model in 44 Magnum this morning. Been looking for one of these for a while. I've seen the 44s. The ones that seem to be really scarce are the 357s. If you're interested in one of those, I would say don't wait long to make a decision to pick one up, because they go quickly and they are hard to find. ED says the only thing our family agrees on is to love the military. Well, if there's only going to be one thing, that's a good thing for it to be. What are we up to time-wise here? 50 minutes. I'll probably take this for another 10 or 15 minutes before I wrap it up for this Veterans Day live stream. If there's anybody that wants to get in here at the end of the show, let me know. Send me a quick email at the hrfunk@zoominternet.net. I'll get you a link and bring you on here to help wrap things up. Jeff Tim says, family story in case of violent past hurricane encounter. You know what? Maybe I can do this. Maybe this would be easier than trying to read it off the thing there as it keeps jumping up the screen. In case of violent post-hurricane encounter, my wife will be reloading and calling the sheriff while I'm picking the caliber. Yeah. I might have that problem myself. Which one do I want to use? Hold on. I'm going to be out there in a little bit to take care of you, but let me figure out which one of these do I want. Frederick Von Cold says, I feel uncomfortable concealing a gun in places like Walmart. Do you feel okay? Yeah, I do. I've been carrying firearms for so many years in so many ways. It's like, for me, it's like putting on a pair of shoes, or, putting on a shirt or something. If I'm dressed, I have a firearm on my person, and wherever I go, that firearm goes with me. It's just, I can't remember the last time that I was concerned about, carrying a firearm anywhere. Of course, I don't take one, any place that I shouldn't take one. Like when I went to vote the other day, I did not take a firearm with me into the polling place or anything. But as far as just, going out and about on a normal day, no, I don't worry about it at all. Tom Crawford, the wind blew in my, I'll do this again. That just makes it easier to read. The wind blew my front door off. Lots of approaches by would-be looted. Really? Wow. Sat out in front at night with a lantern illuminating my Colt 6920. It worked great. I'll bet it did. It's kind of like that the one home security commercial with the guy sitting on his roof. That's kind of how I'm picturing you now, Tom. Jeff Tim, comment on the Army. All weapons I learned in 1972 small arms repairman school, except the M2 Browning, are out of the system. Yeah, it's kind of amazing that the M2 is still around, and it's a testament to the genius of John Browning with that design. And in all these years, what are we up to now? 100 years ish service for the M2, and nothing really better has come along. Frank Butta is uncomfortable not carrying. That's the way I am. If I, for whatever reason, lose my mind and walk out of the house one day and don't have a firearm with me, and I remember it, halfway to wherever I'm going, it drives me crazy until I can get back and actually get one again. So I have to carry two the next time I leave. Just kidding. ED rooftop Koreans. I had one of my young officers when I was still chief of police. In fact, he's a Marine. He was in Operation Iraqi Freedom, I believe. But nice young guy, great guy. But he said something about rooftop Koreans one day. It really surprised me, because at the time he's like in his early 20s. I said, "How do you know about that?" That's from the riots after the Rodney King thing. And he had read about it in a history book or something like that, but he threw out the rooftop Korean reference, which I just thought was funny. And hold up a second. I'm going to bring Ricky Spartan's comment up here. Was hoping you could help me with a question. In New Jersey, we can't use hollow points in our carry guns. Hornady Critical Defense is popular. I was wondering if you have a better alternative. who was it that made the guard dog ammo a couple of years ago that was an expanding full metal jacket? Was that Spear? Somebody help me out with that. There was a line of expanding full metal jacket ammunition, and I don't know if the stuff is still made or not, or if it's gone nowadays, but I'm pretty sure it was called Guard Dog. If that's around, that might be an option for you in New Jersey. If not, then soft point ammunition for a revolver. If you're running semi-autos, there's not too much in the way of soft point ammunition that's available for semi-auto cartridges. Mark Nagel, any luck getting old versus new shotgun matchup? Not yet, but I haven't forgotten it. I've got a new versus old coming up tomorrow morning. We've got the new versus old Berettas with the APX A1 versus the M9 pistol. I enjoyed doing that one. Federal made guard dog. Thanks, Tom. I don't know. Is it still around? Does anybody know if that stuff is still made? And just looking quick. Okay, a lot of comments to that. So good. I'm glad somebody else was able to help me out with that. I remembered the stuff. I just couldn't remember who made it. All right. So it looks like no takers here at the end of the show for a last minute guest appearance. So I will start to wrap things up at this point. Say thank you everyone for tuning in and watching today. I really wanted to do this live stream today. I wanted to put together a Veterans Day live stream in honor of all the veterans. I wanted to open it up to stories about, family members and personal stories from all of your military service, and sort of use it as a way to honor our veterans, honor the service to our nation. And thank you to everyone for joining and making this really what I think is an overwhelming success. This format that I've been using here recently, where I'm bringing people on and having them actually be able to talk and tell stories and interact, I just absolutely love. So thank you to everyone who joined the show today. Rookie Spartan, Skip Boyer, Jeff Tim. Did I forget anybody? Was it just those three? If I forgot you, I'm sorry. But thank you. I really enjoy that. It for me on my end makes it a much more, interactive experience. And I hope everyone that's watching and listening to the stories and hearing the dialogue and chiming in enjoys that as well. It's I don't know of anybody else really that's doing that on a live stream. At least nobody in the firearms community that does the YouTube thing. But as always, thank you everyone for being a viewer of my videos. Thank you for following the channel. Thank you for all your support. You guys are the ones who make everything I do worth doing. And I know that sounds cheap, I guess, but it really is. I do not continue doing the YouTube thing because of glory or money or anything else. I really do it because of the support and the feedback that I get from all of you. So I hope you enjoy the videos. I hope that you always feel like you're getting something out of them. I hope you enjoy the live streams and get something out of this. To my channel members, I always want to throw out a special thank you, because the contribution you guys make every month is probably the thing that has kept this show afloat, or the channel afloat at various times where I've run into the problems with YouTube demonetizing videos and not making ad revenue. Knowing that I've got a little something coming in from all of you really, really helps. And it, like I said, has probably sustained the channel during some times that I've been in these battles with YouTube that seem to come around periodically. So thanks again to everyone for joining. Have a great Veterans Day. Thank you to all the veterans for your service to the country, and we'll do this again sometime soon. And until that time, folks, good shooting and bye-bye.